I'm going to pose this to Lang and then to Jessica. I think we can all be adults here and admit that these teams play a gross brand of basketball. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing. I want to know which
Quality
team plays
basketball this
the.
year.
Okay, I shall reframe it. Perhaps not the most offensively fluid is the euphemism I would say. And I want to know from Lang and then from Jessica which team plays an uglier brand of basketball, or if you want to phrase that kinder, which team plays the more exciting brand of basketball, and why?
Well, historically, the Hawks have, especially when Mike Woodson was there was the ISO Joe offense, which tended to take over pretty much every game, especially in the fourth quarter, where you just go to Joe Johnson and let him dribble down the clock and create a shot, which is not the most aesthetically pleasing brand of basketball. Actually, I thought in game one, the Hawks shared the ball really well on offense. They were passing it around a lot, getting good shots, finding open guys, and I really, maybe for like the first 6 quarters of this series, I thought offensively they looked as good as I've seen them look in a long time. But the second half of that game too, I thought they really slowed down. That fourth quarter ended up, especially after Josh got hurt, ended up being a lot more the ISO Joe. So I don't know which one's uglier. I mean, I would say the Hawks for that second half, especially in game 2, that they didn't look good. And, they couldn't score. That's what cost them the game.
I will say for the
Jessica?
uglier brand of basketball, I'm going to go with the Celtics in Game 2 minus Rajon Rondo. That was a mess. That was some ugly offense. It was basically get Paul Pierce the ball and cross your fingers that perhaps somebody else will catch it or it will go in the basket. So I think that is my vote for ugliest basketball in the series, Celtics minus Rajon Rondo.
I'm interested in how that backcourt will provide offense going forward. I've seen Avery Bradley after the All-Star break. He really started to shoot. Nobody knew, at least outside observers who don't live in Boston, perhaps like myself. I didn't know he could shoot at all, so I was surprised to see that. And I've been seeing Rondo drain the occasional jumper. Is there a big effort behind the scenes going on to make sure these guys can become offensive threats going forward, or is this just random statistical noise?
I think with Rondo, you're going to get what you're going to get. But Bradley is definitely developing his offensive game. We've seen him incorporate a three-point shot now towards the end of the regular season. But with him, so much of it is confidence. I mean, this was the guy that was afraid to get into practice last year, and now he's your starting shooting guard going into the playoffs. So right now, he could be the greatest three-point shooter in the world. But for him, confidence and just being comfortable out there on the floor plays so much of a role in this.
I've got a question to pose to both of you from our producer, James, and it will be Lang first and then Jessica. More fun, Avery Bradley or Jeff Teague? Inquiring minds want to know.
Well, if I'm going first, I'll say Teague. Just because he has the ball in his hands a lot more than Avery Bradley probably does. Last year Teague, remember, Heinrich got hurt and Teague kind of stepped up out of nowhere. Hadn't really played a lot during the season, and in the playoffs that was kind of his coming out party last year. This year it's kind of up and down throughout the season, but he's no one can really stop him, and even in the half court set, he's so quick. He can get to the rim. He's fearless. He goes up at the rim, tries to dunk. He doesn't get a lot of calls. But I think, if T can develop that outside shot and just get more consistent with that, it'll open things up for him even more. But so for me, I'm going to go with Teague. Jess, you want to go with Avery Bradley?
Can we split it here? Because my favorite part of this series was the sequence in which I think it was Bradley blocked Teague's shot, and then Teague came back and then blocked a Keon Dooling three-pointer. I'm like, I'll just watch both of these guys all day. But, I mean, they're different kinds of players. Bradley's a defensive savvy, feisty guy, but I'm intrigued by Teague because, Juwan Johnson, the Celtics rookie, is really good friends with him from Indiana, from middle school and high school, and he always tells me there is so much more he can do with the ball. It's just not his role on the team right now. So I think there's a lot of untapped excitement that is yet to be seen from Jeff Teague.
Okay, and here's my last question posed to you both, and it will be another hacky radio ploy. I feel like there isn't a consensus on who the best player is on either of these teams. With the Hawks, people aren't sure if it's Josh Smith or Joe Johnson. With the Celtics, it could go to any number of, perhaps 3 or 4 players. So I guess pose to Jessica first and then to Lang. To Jessica, who's the best player in the Celtics? To Lang, who's the best player in the Hawks?
I wish I could give you one answer. There isn't. I think if you're, if you look at the best person to win a game, it's going to be Paul Pierce right now. If you look for the person to drive the team, it's Rajon Rondo. But all throughout the season, their MVP, hands down, has been Kevin Garnett. His numbers aren't 25 and 15, but he is the driving force behind that team, and his presence alone is invaluable. So to me, he's the best player on the Celtics.
And I've thought all along this season that this is probably the best season Josh Smith's had with the Hawks. Filling in for Horford, scoring in the post, rebounding, blocking shots. Really limited the 3-pointers that he used to jack up so often. He still takes a lot of 18-footers, but not as many threes as he used to take. So for me, I still think Joe Johnson's the best offensive player on the team, but maybe the best all-around player. I'd probably go with the way Josh Smith has played this season.
Okay. Well, thanks to both of you guys, and great talk as always. I might have just stepped on Beckley. That might, or Beckley's frozen again. It's one of the two is contributing to the comedy. But oh, it's always so professional.
No, I'm enjoying watching you squirm right now. This is excellent. No, Lang and Jessica, thanks a lot for coming on. One of your teams will advance, and then next week, hopefully, we'll be able to have you on again. This was great.
Thank you.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks.